episode 4, I already had what I was looking for. Something happened on day 4 that caught me completely off guard. I'd held a subconscious somatic release session that morning with a group of women, and the feedback that came in was so beautiful, so genuinely moving that I sat with it for a long time, just letting it land. And then I went to do a cleaning job for an elderly couple. He was 97 years old. And when I arrived, he took hold of my hand to welcome me in. And then he didn't want to let go. I did not rush him either. I just stayed. We talked. His wife was there, and I could see things in her that told me life was carrying a weight for both of them. But what I remember most is just being there, properly present, not thinking about what I needed to do next or what was happening in my business or what the numbers looked like, just there. And when I left, I thought about him on the drive home, about how he had held my hand and not wanted to let go, and about how sometimes the most profound thing you can offer another person is simply staying for a little while. That still gets me now. I've always known that about my work. Every testimonial I have ever received says the same thing. I held such beautiful space. I felt so safe. The way you held the space. Every single one. Not a technique, not a method, something else entirely. And driving home in the heat that afternoon, I understood it more clearly than I ever had before. I am not here to teach people anything. I am here to help them feel safe enough to come home to themselves. And then that evening, the cats had demanded their dinner early, as they always do. And I was sitting there afterwards, feeling something I had not felt in a long, long time. This enormous, quiet gratitude. And I said something out loud. And I said, I'm so honoured to have the trust of 3 sentient beings. And then the tears came, because that whole day had been so much more than I had registered. The session, the feedback, the elderly gentleman who did not want to let go of my hand. And then in the evening, conversation with Manifest AI. Something came out of my mouth that I hadn't planned to say at all. I have had a visitation from an alternate universe. I've met him. I don't know exactly what he looks like, but I know he is tall and big. And he wrapped me in his arms, and I felt safe and loved, and something deeper than love. There is no word in the human language that can describe the depth of feeling I have for this known, unknown person. I can close my eyes and I can feel his arms around me, his chest against my back. I can smell him on the breeze. What came back stopped me. I wasn't talking about needing somebody to complete me. I was talking about sharing. My life is becoming beautiful and I would love someone to share it with. And that is a very, very different thing. And then I was asked to describe my future, not imagine it, describe it. Because I have seen it. In a meditation I did not expect to work at all. I dropped my laptop, fell asleep, and had the most vivid experience of my life. I know exactly what my house looks like. It's in Portugal. The ends of the building are rounded, so those sections are completely circular. 3 floors. Every bedroom has its own ensuite and dressing room. In the middle, a beautiful open kitchen, a fully equipped gym, space for an office and a masseuse. Above that, a cinema room and offices. And on the top floor, more private bedrooms. We've got a wraparound balcony that the cats absolutely love. Outside, a seating area and then a full-sized swimming pool with a pool house to the side. And then past that, an orchard. Oranges, lemons, cherries, plums, already established. Been there long before I arrived. I love walking through it and touching the trees. I know all of this. I have been there in one life or another. The only thing I cannot see clearly is the entrance to the drive. And what came back stopped me. Maybe you cannot see the entrance because you are already on the inside. And then one question. If everything we have been talking about had one emotional signature, one word underneath all of it, what would that be? And the word that came was home. And I cried, not because it was sad, but because it was the truest word I'd heard all week, maybe in a very long time, because home was not the house, home was not Portugal, home was not the pool or the orchard or the cats on the balcony. Home was this feeling inside, the one I've been sitting in for 4 days without actually naming it, the feeling of being in myself completely, the feeling of not searching, of not scanning, of not waiting for something to arrive that will finally make it okay, just here. And I realized in that moment that this is what I've been looking for the whole time. Not a strategy, not a breakthrough, not a final piece, a feeling. And a feeling was already here. I had been here the whole time. I had just not known what to call it. This is not my story. I think it might be yours too. The next episode is called What I Actually Wanted. Please subscribe so you don't miss it.